tell you, let's go to a cocktail party and let's see what they're talking about.
You got a deal?
All right, come on.
All right.
You'll see that everybody's talking about the whole thing. Come on, gang. We'll take you with us.
Isn't this nice? How nice to see all these nice people and such a nice place. Isn't this the nicest party?
Sure, I approve of the pill, but why take an aspirin when you don't have a headache?
Of course, working as Twiggy is easier than my old job. I used to be a topless waiter.
I'll drink to that.
I have nothing against Hugh Hefner personally. It's just that I object to anyone building an empire based on the moral standards of a rabbit.
I'm not against fluoridation. I'm against water.
When it comes to peaceful coexistence, it must be remembered that the mountain lion has never fought the whale.
That's what I always say. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Very interesting.
The trouble with people today is they've forgotten how to communicate.
Boris and I fell in love at a peace rally, but then he attacked me.
My mother always told me, never take a pill unless you absolutely have to.
You know she's right.
Oh, what do you know about pills?
Well, I have an iron deficiency. I used to when I was a kid.
You had an iron deficiency?
I had to take iron every day, morning, noon, and night, iron shots.
How'd it work on?
Pretty good. I can do anything I want now as long as I'm facing the North Pole.
I actually don't do this for a living. Really, I'm a campaign button pusher. Before that, I used to be a bumper sticker licker.
I took a speed reading course and read War and Peace in 20 minutes. I think it's about Russia.
I'll tell you what's wrong with children today. No sense of moral responsibility. Now, you take my third son by my fourth wife. Or was it my fourth son by my third wife?
If the Vietnamese don't like the way we're handling things over there, why don't they go back where they came from?
I just cut down on my driving and drink more carefully.
We know of the industry of the bee. We know of the activity of the ant. But it is a wise man who holdeth his own roach.
That's what I always say. A smile is just a frown turned upside down.
Or was it my seventh son from my ninth wife?
The difference between sex and love is just a matter of semantics.
I didn't realize Boris was that nonviolent until he borrowed my psychedelic earrings.
In my opinion, the Soviet Union is just a communist front.
Then you still don't know anything about pills.
Well, I may not, but I have a friend who does.
Who?
Kermit. Why, he takes pep pills to get up in the morning. He takes tranquilizers to go to sleep at night. Every day of his life, it's just pills, pills, pills.
Have they helped him?
No, he's pregnant.
Hey, that's a good idea. Why don't you come along, too?
Oh, you silly.
You know, there's one really good thing about the South Vietnamese Army. And I don't remember what it is.
I know a girl just found out she's been taking aspirins instead of the pill. Well, at least she doesn't have a headache. But I sure do.
Paris is the most exciting city in the world. To me, it's the Burbank of Europe.
I simply quit the Peace Corps flat when they assigned me to Ecuador. Nobody goes to Ecuador in October.
Our people have made great strides in the South lately, mostly towards the North.
This is a very strange country. The people take it polls to find out how the elections turn out. In the old country, we tell the polls how the election's going to turn out.
Last night I had dinner at a hippie's house. Of course, it was just potluck.
I don't mind rescheduling holidays to make longer weekends. I just don't think Ash Wednesday should fall on a Monday.
Seems to me we are living in a world of compromise and accommodations.
Well, if you're willing to compromise, I'll see to it that I get some accommodations.
If you can guess the number of pennies in my hand, you can take me home.
438,726.
Close enough.
Oh, the fellas at San Diego Naval Base just voted me the girl they'd most like to, well, I don't know what it was, but it sounded like fun.
Well, I don't know why there should be any question about capital punishment. I think everybody in the capital should be punished.
I hear our Olympic team has got a 26-foot broad jumper.
Oh, I love tall men.
Well, personally, I think working for a 20-mule team was the best political training Ronald Reagan could have had. After all, if you spend that much time with 20 jackasses, you ought to be a natural in politics.
Now, here is the fastest man in the world who will shoot an apple off his own head at 1,000 paces.
What, you want to go?
Come on along with us.
Come on, I'll go.
George is so square. He thinks that Planned Parenthood means living with his mother.
You know, I could have had the lead in I Spy, but they gave it to Robert Culp.
It's not that Ronald Reagan dislikes education. It's just that he's not fanatic about it.
You know, I always say before two people can love each other, they really have to like each other.
Boris says real rejection is trying to sell support your local police bumper stickers at Berkeley. Isn't he silly?
As the Ram Chongulahorn once said, when the lamb lieth down with the lion, it is then and then only the pigeon will sit on the arm of the idol.
When I asked Harry whether he'd rather watch Mission Impossible or kiss me, he said, "What's the difference?"
I say we ought to get bingo out of the supermarkets and back into the churches where it belongs.
90% of the Cadillac owners in America say those white people sure make some sharp cars.
nothing against the sexual revolution, as long as they don't start storming my barricades.
It is said, if the maiden saveth not the oil, it is then the Maharaja trims the wick.
I wish I had said that.
And there'd be no trouble in the Middle East if only the Israelis and the Arabs would start behaving like good Christians.
Well, what do you think of red china?
On a blue tablecloth, I think it looks lovely.
You're no relation to the Seattle Martins, are you?
No. My mother married my stepfather's brother by a previous marriage. You might call me the man from Uncle.
Kiriaki, get over here, fast. I think I've found Thrush headquarters at last.
Step to the front, please.
Well, we've been invited. Yeah? As a matter of fact, so have you. Come on, it might be fun. We'll go to a lift.
You know, I think God Save the Queen was first written for Oscar Wilde.
Love it here.
Well, if your heart belongs to me, how come the rest of you goes out with so many other guys?
Boris and I have the most violent political arguments. He thinks the Democrats can do no wrong, and of course I'm for Johnson.
It is said that the man who soweth the oats in the garden of his neighbor, perhaps he has not a pot to plant in.
Raquel Welch may look exciting, but man cannot live by broad alone.
Hey, it's not that I'm against marriage. I'd get married in a minute if I didn't have to live in.
Actually, there have been a lot of successful show business marriages. Eddie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds, Eddie Fisher, Liz Taylor, Eddie Fisher, Connie Stevens.
It didn't surprise me when he was unfrocked. After all, he shouldn't have been wearing a frock in the first place.
Did Bacon really write Shakespeare?
It's difficult to tell. The postal service was so bad in those days.
Doesn't the night go by fast when you're having fun?
It wasn't until I met Heathcliff that I realized why they call England the mother country.
You know, my wife just doesn't understand me.
Oh, you married men are all the same.
No, I mean it. She doesn't understand me. She's Swahili.
It is well known that the mariner who steers his ship on another's course cares not if the ship hits the sand.
Oh, I don't care anymore. I just want to swing.
You're not getting me to take out a marriage license. Not until they start giving learner's permits.
Sonny and I are perfectly compatible. As soon as there's a problem, my psychiatrist contacts his psychiatrist and they work it out.
Boris says we'll never win the war on poverty till all those poor people surrender.
Well, if they make a modern version of the Old Testament, then they'll just have to change that bit about the Egyptians beating the Israelites.
Well, how do you feel about de Gaulle?
Well, you mustn't be too hard on him. After all, if General de Gaulle hadn't got out of Vietnam, you Americans wouldn't have it today.
Go to the party.
Yeah, let's bring everybody with us.
Good idea. Come along to the party, gang. Come on.
mothers got kicked out of our school last week. One taught French and the other taught history.
You know, even in Texas, money can't buy happiness. Votes, yes. Happiness, no.
I'm a home-loving girl, and that's where I wish I was. At home. Loving.
Which reminds me of the tale of the Bombay confectioner who fell into a vat of chocolate and came up with a new concept in coconuts.
Boris has been wearing the Bonnie and Clyde look for years. His suits are all shot.
Your police don't carry guns, do they?
No, just grudges.
Well, the traffic problem in New York is bad, but most pedestrians eventually get across. The Jewish ones get a star.
I'm all for modernizing the church, but I still think they're going too far when they refer to a glass of sacramental wine as the Bible Belt.
One false move and I'll appreciate it.
My boyfriend refuses to burn his draft card. He needs it to get into bars.
Dan, I saw an Ingmar Bergman movie last night.
Oh, yeah? How'd you like it?
Well, I don't think it's nearly as funny as Charlie McCarthy.
Back home in Texas, we're going all the way with LBJ. See, we don't want him back there as a governor.
I don't mind men who kiss and tell. I need all the publicity I can get.
It is said, he who is deceived by a pretty package buys naught but a kilo of seeds.
Boris says that General Westmoreland should have been replaced by Genghis Khan. After all, he's the only general who ever won a war in Asia. Isn't Boris smart?
Do you know the London Bridge is for sale?
Oh, how much?
Oh, the whole ruddy thing.
But if you get rid of cruelty and violence on television, the kids will have nothing to watch on Saturday morning.
It's such a beautiful night. Let's go somewhere real romantic.
Sure, your place or mine.
We should all prepare for the day of reckoning, but let us not say, "Here come the judge."